Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, trend update, Sanhedrin to reestablish Jerusalem borders, May 10, 2017. Now, the Sanhedrin has announced they will reestablish the borders of Jerusalem. Now, the reason is for the initiation of temple services and the sacrificial system. The borders will be established on the day after the Feast of Weeks, or Shavuot in the Hebrew. Now, Christians know this day as Pentecost. This year, God's appointed feast falls on June 1st, 2017 on the Gregorian calendar. Now, a lot of this depends on a Hebrew calendar. When do they see the new moon? Then they'll count forward 14 days from when they see the new moon. Now, the Sanhedrin has reconvened in 2005 after about a 1600-year absence. And the Sanhedrin is to oversee legal matters and future construction of the pending Third Temple. This is the same Sanhedrin that illegally tried, arrested, and convicted Jesus. Check out Luke 22, verse 66, Mark 14, verses 55 through 56. They also pressured Pilate for Jesus' death on a cross in Mark 15, verses 1 through 15. Now, the borders of Jerusalem were established back in the day of Nehemiah. The construction takes place in roughly the first 4 chapters of Nehemiah. Now, remember, sacrificial services were started before there was a third temple in Nehemiah's day. There is a precedent. The sacrificial worship service can begin before the third temple is built. It's happened before, so they're clearly prepared to do this again. Now, Sanhedrin spokesman Rabbi Hillel Weiss indicated this is the last step necessary for temple worship. And I quote, "The only thing lacking today to begin bringing sacrifices is the altar. When that is ready, we will need to have these borders firmly established." And so the city borders are necessary because the sacrifices need to be eaten within the city. And the idea is the holiness of the city of Jerusalem. Now, there's also political motivation on the mind of the Sanhedrin. And again, another quote from Hillel Weiss, spokesman for the Sanhedrin. "Jerusalem's Jubilee is the time to reestablish the holiness of Jerusalem. President Trump is coming on his first official visit. We have to make clear to him, as a leader of a nation friendly to Israel, that the eternal Jewish capital is once again ready to fulfill its biblical role. This is also in direct response to the absurd UNESCO proclamations, which come to prevent the Jews from performing their biblically mandated purpose." And again, that's Hillel Weiss, spokesman for the Sanhedrin. Now, the Sanhedrin hasn't just stopped there. They also have other ideas. Discussions have begun for the defining of the city border as related to the third temple. And the Sanhedrin is studying the prophet Ezekiel for direction. And it's being estimated the borders will extend 7 miles from the temple in all 4 directions. So if you're interested in this topic, please feel free to check out paulthepoke.com. Keywords: Sanhedrin, Temple, Temple Mount, Sanhedrin, reconfiguring the borders, Pentecost, Shavuot, and there's also a link provided to breakingisraelnews.com, Sanhedrin revives 2,000-year-old temple rite, reestablishing Jerusalem's borders. So appreciate you guys listening. Thanks a lot, and have a great day. Bye.